Hello everyone and welcome. Sit back, relax, make a cup of tea or whatever you like to drink and get ready for news stories from Yellowcat. Send your own favorite stories in the comments below and maybe they'll be in our new video. So subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet, and let's get started. What is the most foolish error you have ever witnessed a coworker with incompetence make? Part 5. One of my jobs is at Edible Arrangements. One of my coworkers was almost done with high school. It had been Christmas, a busy time. Someone named Guy calls in to place an order for his aunt in California. Coworker takes his order. Guy would like it sent to him. When she types in the address, no stores in the area show up. Now, if there are no delivery options, you should tell the person that we can't do that because no stores deliver to that address. Then you should either find another way to deliver the item or cancel the order. Makes sense. What does she do next? She looks around to see if there are any pickup spots nearby to make a delivery. She puts it there that way without telling the guy to a 40-mile-away store. Then he calls customer service to complain after reading the email. Guys, my aunt is old and can't drive out to pick up the package. She shouldn't have to. It was supposed to be a delivery. Customer service calls the store and puts me in touch with him. I had the bad luck to answer the second call. I tell him what happened, what his coworker did, etc., and he swears at me. I still feel bad that I was nice to her about it. What state of mind do you need to be in to hear delivery for an elderly woman who cannot pick up, and then pick up the package 40 miles away? In my old job, I was part of a support center. One of my roles was to identify electric meters that were problematic, etc. Well, I came across an issue. If not addressed, it would have some bad consequences. Some of these electric meters were installed at companies that generated anywhere from $100K to $2.2 million a month of usage in electricity. I couldn't get any leverage. I was just a peon with a vendor after many emails. Look, y'all need to fix the issue. Finally, not only did I mention this to my boss and his boss, vocally and on email with past correspondence to the vendor that I needed their pull and support to get these guys in gear. 7 months passed. There were several complaints to the Public Commission. One company overpaid us by $5 million and another by $7 million. Quickly, I see an email sent to me and CC our director and my boss's boss by my immediate manager telling me how come I dropped the ball here and what was my explanation. Reminded them that I made them aware close to 9 months ago and I asked for support from their end to push the vendors to resolve the issue. And I passed all the correspondence to them and nothing was done. I also showed them at least 3 separate emails reminding them of this issue and I needed their help. Fast forward a few months later, they found out close to $10 million they would have to refund the customer. Last time I heard from them was they tried to sue one of the vendors and my letter was brought up. One of them was promoted to a different group, and the other was promoted to VP. Working for public utilities can be such a cluster of unethical effery. Edited. Add one more effery below. At the same place, we were getting many complaints from the public. Some were afraid RF radiation these smart meters are emitting. One lady had 2 instances of breast cancer that relapsed, and she was refusing anything with RF in her house and was willing to opt out and pay the extra fee. So, my boss asked me to write a letter they would proofread telling the customer how safe the meters were. I immediately said no, I am qualified to write such a letter, and that is unethical. WTF, man? As a newly hired help desk technician. Premise: a few days ago, my coworkers and I got into a heated argument about how to act as an administrator in a production setting. From my experience as a systems administrator, I know that we shouldn't make any changes to the system's configuration or production during business hours. Instead, we should log and report the changes we make if necessary. I was quickly rebutted by both a new network administrator with little experience and a senior help desk technician who has worked with servers for 4 years but hasn't worked with them much. Story. Ended up coming to work and having a busy and productive day. Later that morning, a number of users report to the help desk that they can't get to a website. I tell them that they need to talk to the site's webmaster because their tickets aren't very clear. They don't know who that is, so I ask them what website they're having trouble with. Turns out to be web access to one of our own systems. I try to ping the system address, look in our directory services, and even look over the history of tickets to see if this system has been mentioned. I find it. I tell my team, the network administrator and the senior help desk technician, about the ticket and say that several users need this system to do their daily work. Conclusion, the network administrator deleted the storage server component for this system because no one logged onto the system in several months and was barely using the 2 terabytes of allotted storage space. Took almost a week to get back up and running, and our IT management team wasn't happy about the downtime either. Moral of the story, in the minds of a collective stupidity, the smartest person in the room can easily be the dumbest. I'm done. In order to get small system changes or scripts built on the side without having to go through the standard process of software approvals and testing, the program manager liked to go to her friend who worked in information technology. She had her buddy build a script to automatically email some of our customers based on a very limited criteria on a very visible campaign, VP's pet project. The frontline triage for system issues was performed by my team. We received a warning because the primary customer service software, CRM, stopped responding to all the people who were using it. Consequently, the entire call center was operating without any information. Our software team suggests that we look into a script that is currently being executed and is consuming a significant amount of system resources. As a result, the system has become unresponsive for all users. As my team begins to make some noise about it, the program manager comes peeking around the corner to let us know that she's the one who initiated the script, but that there is no need to be concerned because she has turned off her laptop. She did not realize that this meant the script continued to run, and it was obvious that she did not know how to log back in and stop it from carrying out its intended purpose. We were required to go through a separate IT team in order to get them to terminate the script, determine the reason why it was consuming such a large amount of system resources, submit an incident report that was distributed to the entire executive leadership team, and search through a number of files before getting in touch with the customers who had been emailed to inform them that they had just received an email in error. Additionally, it was necessary to put the script through the IT process, have it redesigned, put it through testing, and schedule it to run in the evening hours so that this would not occur again. Easily a mistake of $5,000 to $10,000 just from labor alone, considering all of the work that was generated for a large number of people over the course of several days. Shortly after that, she was terminated from her position. What is the worst thing that a-hole neighbors or homeowners associations have done to you, Redditors? Part 5. My association was sued in 2012 for refusing to provide the membership list to an owner. Our bylaws stated we were entitled to it, as did the state law. The board president just didn't want to give it to someone she didn't like. That person sued and won. The insurance company covered the cost after the $2,500 deductible. There had also been 2 injury and 1 death claims around the same time, resulting in almost $5 million in payout. These were all absolutely 100% of the fault of the directors for not following the laws. Insurance rates increased and the deductible went to $75,000. The insurance co flat out said they were raising it so high in hopes that the board would stop trying to fight people and just do the right things. 2015, I asked for the membership, and guess what? Denied. I contacted the same attorney who won the last case and ended up hiring because I really peed off the board when I started questioning money and other problems. I was getting threatened by other owners and board members at meetings and in other situations. It was not pleasant. My kid was being harassed by adults, my property was being vandalized, and it was not a good situation. The insurance company read the filing and told the board they would not cover it even after the deductible was met because it was clear this wasn't a mistake or errors on their part. They were deliberately acting in a nefarious manner. The board did not tell anyone this. Instead, they racked up $90,000 in legal fees by the time we received a copy of that letter during discovery. Their lawyers had been telling them from day one to just give me what I was entitled to follow the bylaws, etc., but they refused. For 5 years, I heard you were suing yourself and you're costing us money, blah, blah, blah. They were racking up thousands in legal bills, not because I had done something wrong, but because they were trying to hide what they had done. In the end, they threw money at me to settle. To be clear, I never asked for money. I wanted access I was legally entitled to and the harassment to stop. They bought me out well above market value, covered my legal fees, and a large chunk of change for my troubles. The insurance company paid $50,000 towards it, and yes, the association was on the hook for the rest. The month before I accepted the offer, a bylaw was passed that limited what owners could see to the bylaws, articles of incorporation, and published public meeting minutes, and the process took 3 to 9 months to get those items. No financial records or anything that could determine if there was a problem. When that passed, I knew it was a lost cause, that the board was determined to hide what they were doing, and people were going along with it, so I took the money. The insurance company raised the deductible to $150,000, and I recently learned the policy will not cover any legal fees, and the D&O policy was dropped. A current owner called to ask for information because the board is still refusing to comply with the state law and provide the membership list, and there are big concerns for the money, so they've hired an attorney. Not really my neighbor, but kinda like this. When I lived in San Francisco, I drove my car to my cousin's neighborhood, which was close to a Mooney stop. I parked right next to his garage. Someone who lives in San Francisco knows how expensive it is to park in downtown San Francisco. A Mooney or BART ride is much cheaper. I get a note from his neighbor one day telling me I couldn't park there. I told the people living there that it was public parking and that I had every right to park there. After a month, people start getting into my car. It's so helpful that it's only on the passenger side. When I called the police, they came and tried to talk to the neighbor, but the neighbor said they didn't speak English, so they couldn't do anything. After a few weeks, my neighbor messed up my car completely, but I had no proof. For my cousin's kitchen, I set up a bad webcam that pointed at my car. After a few days, I watched the video again, and lo and behold, my neighbor's cutting my car with a kitchen knife from bumper to tail, all the while checking to see if anyone else was there. I showed the video to the police and put in a small claims case, won in court. The amount of money paid was $7,000. While they still had 1 week to pay me, they hired a lawyer and asked for a new trial. Sure, why not? I had video proof. On the second court date, their lawyer is way too late. Try an hour. A jerk, was a DA for 25 plus years, and rude to both the judge and me. Counsel, sit down, the judge kept yelling. They tried to play these kids know how to edit videos, it's all done on the computer card. It's a fake, but the judge wouldn't let me. I won the second time and lost $9,000. An account from my cousin. Only a short time before a housing development consisting of multi-million-dollar McMansions was constructed behind them, his family purchased a farmhouse that had been abandoned in a rural area. Moving forward in time, after the houses have been completed, my cousin begins to receive letters from the HOA that managed the housing development. These letters inform him that the colors of his house do not meet the standards set forth by the HOA and that he is required to repaint the house. He initially disregarded them, but the HOA continued to send him letters and fines, and eventually they dispatched a representative to have face-to-face conversations with him. He explained to the representative that his property is not part of the development and that he is not required to comply with their requests, nor do they have any authority over his property. On the other hand, the representative was a D-head and responded by threatening to have his house foreclosed on and stating that he would personally have them thrown out of the house. What exactly does my cousin do then? Well, he suddenly decided his house needed repainting, so he repaints the house with the most garish clashing colors he could find: yellow, bright green, and purple. The HOA was beyond irate. In the end, the HOA did take legal action against him, and the judge ruled in my cousin's favor because, shockingly, he was not required to comply with the rules of an HOA that he was not a member of. As a result of the economic crisis that occurred in 2008, the previous homeowners association was removed from power and he eventually repainted his home. I beat my HOA once. I bought a place, and during the closing, some joke was made by the former owner, and I laughed along with him. Well, it turns out, the former owner and the HOA were at war. Right away, I became the enemy of the HOA because I didn't know I walked into a hornet's nest. I learned the rules frontwards and backwards, and I used them against them, and I won every step of the way. However, they lied to me because I had been to board meetings and done other things. They put my name on the ballot and voted me president. For me, it was my first and last 2-year job. When I quit, they had to take it back because there were only 4 or 5 people willing to volunteer for the board. They did a great job in the 2 years I was there. They learned about equality and how to enforce rules without looking. The covenants we filed with the state were also changed to make them more fair. And yes, Karen and Jennifer were in charge of everything. If you want to watch the part 4, click the link here. Thank you for subscribing, the likes, and comments. We're very happy to see you all in the comments too. Thanks for your support.